Today we are going to be meeting Victoria Orwell. Victoria Orwell is a professional content developer with 21 years plus experience in content and creative writing. She has pioneered the writing project of diverse individuals, executives, technocrats, and companies across industries in corporate writing, ghostwriting, copywriting, book writing, audio and visual scripts, social media, blog, website content, brand promotional stories, executive profiles, and other creative pieces. At age 9, she found her unique gift and passion with the pen and paper and grew to become a proficient and creative content developer. She started her career as a scriptwriter and radio presenter at a TV and radio production company in Enugu State, Nigeria, where she co-presented and co-produced radio drama program scripts on Earth for SFA, Abuja TV Scripts, translated in Igbo language. She currently serves as creative director of the Pen Minds Enterprise, a premium ghostwriting and editing firm that specializes in creative, strategic, and top quality content for organizations and clients interested in growing their audience and businesses. Writing for more than 2 decades has enabled her to ghostwrite over 70 books, author 7 books, namely The Art of Storytelling, Sword of Heroes, How Any Novice Can Make Money Writing Online, Winning Deals with Business Letters, Love on a Mission, Tasha Street, and Writing Your Book in 30 Days. She is also the co-author of 2 leading books that suits the young mind and addresses career as well as business challenges. Today, she's not just a content creator, but one who is passionate about communicating your story and many other stories efficiently with an extraordinary measure of inspiration sent to enthuse your audience in the most dynamic and dignified style ever. She believes that every content has a significant message that should be researched, excellently voiced, and expressed in writing via the media. Everybody, please join me as I welcome our facilitator for today, Victoria Orwell.
Thank you so much, Oluwasegun, for that warm welcome. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Uchenna, Ebonluwa, Rachel, Kende,
Welcome,
Sabi.
Victoria.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much. I appreciate that. Dr. It is good to have you here. Geraldine, Juliana, Kende, Labi, Tiwa, Sewa, Uchenna, Abo. I'm just trying to reach out to everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I'd like to state it. I'm super sorry that my video is not coming on right now, but I'll be sharing my screen in a bit. And one thing I want you to know is that this course or this training, which will definitely be a crash course in copywriting, is one that would cause you to learn quite a lot of things that perhaps you already know or need to be reminded, or you perhaps do not even know at all, and you will just be learning. So get ready to unlearn, learn, and then relearn, in the area of copywriting. Copywriting is basically involves the art and science of writing sales letters. And I'm sure you've encountered diverse things or aspects in copywriting already. So someone want to tell me what you think about copywriting. If you want to say something, just go ahead and unmute your mic or raise your hands and I'll say, go ahead, over to you. While I'm trying to share my screen, I want to know what copywriting is to you. Who wants to share? Are we all here?
Yes, we here.
Okay, go ahead. Who wants to share what copywriting is? What is it to you?
To me personally, good evening, everyone. My name is Uchenna. So all along, I see copywriting as the ability to communicate and communicate your marketing words or your message. Let me put it this way: message to your customers or clients, just using simple words or simple text.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Uchenna, for sharing that. Anybody else want to share what copywriting is to you? Now, beyond what you've heard about copywriting, what is it to you? One more person and we will get started already. Just one more. Nobody? Okay, great. Like in with the count of 5, I guess we'll just take it as nobody has anything to share. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's it. We'll just get started already. Can you see my screen already? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. And so this class is basically called, become a pro copywriter. I'll be sharing effective tips with you, but I'm going to start with sharing a little bit of my story, right? So the first time I ever heard, very funny, about copywriting, despite the fact that I had already been in the content space for years. Yeah, I think I had already been in the content space for over 10 years at that time when I heard about copywriting. I just felt, oh, well, it's just, it's just normal writing thing that we do. So I'm basically used to creating content in a rush. Like I can create content in less than 30 minutes and send out to you. It's just my style. And so when I heard about copy, I just write a copy and send out to this particular company. I was in a rush as well. My novel style, let's just write something. It's about creativity. And so I just wanted to be creative and I wrote something and I sent out without knowing that copywriting involves a whole lot more, right? Copywriting is much more detailed. You must be careful with every process. It's beyond just I want to write something that would appeal to an audience. It's beyond just I want to write something that will be, interesting. It's the main goal for copywriting is selling. Nobody rewards you for being the best writer. You are actually rewarded for being the best selling writer. So the aspect or the end goal of copywriting is basically to sell. And if you're not writing to sell, you're just wasting your time, basically. So that's it about my first encounter with copywriting. I realized it was not just something I would just create that would interest an audience or be appealing to some people. It's about doing more homework, and that is it. Now, what is the objective of this training? In this training, you would learn what copywriting entails, the process of writing a copy before and when writing, what grabbers, descriptions, benefits, and clinchers entails, and others. So now, what is copywriting to you? You already answered that. So let me define copywriting. Copywriting is simply using words as tools to motivate an audience. It's persuading your readers that you have something valuable to offer. You motivate them to acquire this thing that you have to offer for themselves. So it must be valuable, and then your words must be appealing such that they are they are motivated and persuaded enough to buy what you're selling. Whether it's a message you're selling, it's an offer you're selling, it's an idea you're selling, or a product or service, your words and every step of the way in copywriting should be something that will prompt or propel an audience to buy from you. And that is the idea. Now, what are the basic terminologies in copywriting? We hear about grabbers. How many of us have heard about grabbers? You've heard about grabbers before? Can I hear from you? Is that new?
For the first time. It's new
Wow,
to me.
interesting. Okay, thank you
For the
for
first
sharing
time
that.
too.
First time too. Who else?
First time
Okay.
too.
First time, interesting. So, grabbers in copywriting is basically referring to what you use to grab the attention, words you use to grab the attention of your audience. And many times we look at it in headlines. Your headlines will tell you, you have to take out your time to think about the title of your copy, the headline. Don't just say, oh my God. But it's even very important if you are here and you're exposed to some books already. you perhaps will see some books that with titles that would intrigue you. You want to open it, and some other books you're like, I don't care. Those books don't have titles that would grab your attention. That's why you don't care. In the same way, when you're creating a copy, the title must be something that will grab the attention of your audience. There are other grabbers, though, beyond the headline, but the headline is the first thing. It must be something that you must be thinking, what title would I create to actually cause my audience to open my copy? Because the first goal I have is for them to open it. If they don't open it, they can't read it. So you need to think in that regard, right? And so that's where grabbers come in. So you look at other grabbers beyond headlines now, your teasers, your slogans, the opening statement, provocative questions, and other attention getters that will pull your audience into your message. So you need to think in that regard. I'm sure you understand what grabbers are now. Grabbers are basically words, headlines, everything that would grab the attention of your audience. And it's very, very important. So you could start with what kind of opening statements beyond my headline being significant enough and appealing enough and attention grabbing enough. What kind of opening statement will I start with as well? What opening statement will grab attention? And that's why you see some people will start with things like, what if I tell you a secret that would change your life forever? Or what if I give you 7 powerful tools that would help you identify your dream buyer? Things like that, I'm sure you want to open like, how do I identify my dream buyer? Oh my God, like all the dream buyers I've always, imagined to come to me, and someone is already saying it can actually offer me that. Now, this is basically the things you want to look out for, right? When you're thinking about writing a copy. Another terminology is your descriptions and benefits. Now, these things I'm saying are just basic terms, important things that you must take note of. Your grabbers, your descriptions and benefits. Now, if you're looking at descriptions and benefits, you're wondering, okay, what is the best word to use? What is the best phrase to use to convey my message? Or perhaps to help explain the quality of my product, and not just quality, the compelling quality of my product or service. And this is what you need basically to help you when you get started with your copies. You want to be able to tell people exactly what you are going to give to them, the value in this product, the value in this service. And it's very important that perhaps the value of your message. This is very important. All right? Did we get that? Are you with me?
Yes, we are. Yes, we got it.
Okay, great.
Let
So we also have the
please
clinkers.
repeat.
If you're wondering what the clinkers are, they are basically the closing statements. Yeah, you get to hear things like, oh, you must make use of call to actions, right? But apart from that, how persuasive is your closing statement? People have doubts when it comes to certain products or services, or even your brand as a person, especially when they don't know you yet, when they don't trust you yet. You're just coming from nowhere, you're trying to sell me something. I mean, what exactly would make me trust you? And that's why you see some people using guarantees. Your money guarantee, your money would be returned to you if you do not get the value given in this particular thing. And that is basic. Someone did something like that once. He said, he actually gave out his, now this was actually a mattress company. Yeah, they were creating they're actually making mattresses and all. And so he created the foam, and afterwards they actually gave out that foam for people to try out for 120 nights. Oh my God, for free. Now imagine that, and they tell you after 4 months, if you don't get the desired value from this form, you can go ahead and just never pay us. But after 4 months, if you get the value, please pay us. Do you think that is this something you want to do? Now that's hard. But basically, copies involve things like this. You must be able to guarantee people to trust you. What that company was trying to do was create trust, right? They were trying to create trust in people. So your persuasive closing statement must have a guarantee. What are you guaranteeing me? If this thing does not give me the exact value you are promising, you should guarantee me that I would either get my money back or I would get something in return. There should be something that would make me feel like the risks are not back to me, that you would bear the risk, right? And that's the idea with claim trust, your powerful and persuasive closing statement as well. And that statement you should make at the end should be something that would help people also make the decision to buy from you at all costs, or perhaps buy into whatever you're selling. If it's a message, an idea, whatever it is. Now, let me give you a few guidelines into, or perhaps let me say, effective tips of copywriting before you write a copy, and of course when writing. Now I want to share these guidelines that are basically distilled from my own experience and of course from other professional copywriters. These are guidelines that would help you avoid mistakes in copywriting. Things people make, so many mistakes people make when they're writing a copy and they do not even know that they are making these mistakes. And you would also gain the perspective you need to start writing with words that sell, right? So now the first thing I want you to look at is, before you write a copy, gain first-hand knowledge of your product or service. Did you get that? Gain first-hand knowledge of your product or service. You know how we say just do a little research? I'm sure many people are already used to hearing research, just research and all that. Gather your facts right. But let me tell you a little bit about what it entails when it comes to research. You need to truly know can you truly sell something you don't know about? Is it possible? Can you truly define? We talked about descriptive and description and benefit. Can you truly describe a product or service that you don't know about? Can you truly state the benefit? It's totally impossible. This is why it's important that you know your product and service at all costs. Now, someone did something once. A person was hired into a company to write a copy. And, this set of people in the company just felt we just need a professional copywriter and we are good. And so the copywriter, when he was hired, he started to ask them questions. It asked them very simple questions. Why do you think people buy from you? And they said a few things that they felt was the reason people buy from them. As beautiful as it was, I said, okay, great. I'm just going to do a quick one. Beyond just listening to these guys in the company, the people who own the company that hired him, said, please do me a favor. I want the first 10 significant or high-paying clients that you have, right? And they said, okay, not a problem. So they gave him 10 contacts. And this is what happened. He calls each of them and asks them, why do you buy from so company? And they all gave their reasons. It turns out that their reasons were related, but different from what the company said. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. It turns out that their reasons for consistently buying from this company were basically almost related but different from what the company said. So the company basically has been imagined that this is why people have been buying from them. So you can imagine that because they don't even know why people have been buying from them, they can't effectively sell to people with words. Whatever they write to people would not be as appealing because that is not what they are interested in. And so this guy goes ahead to create a copy based on what they all said, all the clients that he reached out to said to him as a reason that draws them to the company. And as soon as he created that copy, guess what? The company sells more just by seeing that copy, people are able, more people like the people who we called earlier, were ready to buy from that company and increase their sales that period. And see, that is one thing you must understand, that research is necessary. You need to get your facts straight. You need to gather your data from different sources of information. You need to understand marketing fact sheets. If you're going to ask, just like the guy did, he asked the product managers and they had their own take, right? He also asked clients, right? But you see, sometimes you need to go further. If you even have to do a survey just to know what people want, what they're after, what they really, as what we call marketing survey, what they really want, so that you don't just go out there and put out a copy and people are just not interested. Then look at your product or service as if you were the consumer when you're done making your research and gathering the right facts, and ask yourself, what features and benefits would attract you as a prospective customer? It means that you need to wear the shoes of your customer. You're wearing the shoes of your customer and not your own shoes. Sometimes people want to sell to people based on what they think they will like. I think this is what I like, so that's what they will like. No, you need to zero out on whatever it is that you like and think about what your customers would like, or prospective customers would like. Now, another thing you need to do before you write a copy is position your product or service. You need to position your product or service. How is it different from your competitors, right? Superior products out there that are just like yours, or services out there that are just like yours. You need to understand what your unique selling point is as a person. That's what I mean when I said position it, right? Position your product or service to stand out beyond others, and then know exactly who would use it. How would you define it in a single phrase? If I ask you now, what exactly defines your product? Can you tell me? Or service? How many of us have products here? Or services? Are you with me?
Yeah. My product is digital marketing, managing pages for people.
Okay, great. So if I ask you to define your product in one phrase, how would you define it?
I'm trying to get the words, but
okay. Who else wants to try? Who wants to try? You want to think about it and I'll come back to it, right?
yes, let me think about it.
Great. But you see, it comes back to one thing. You come into a place where you totally know your product and service so much that you can literally say anything about it in one word, in one phrase, as quickly as possible without having to basically think too much about it. It means that before now, you should have done your own, research findings about your product and service, put down things already. If you've not, maybe by now I've already given you an idea or a tip on what to do with your product or service. You know it like the back of your palms. You can do anything with it. You can say anything about it. You know the pros and the cons. You know the advantages and the disadvantages. You know what clients. Well, the reason you need to know the advantages and disadvantages is that clients would always have their objections. You must know your product and service so much that you can attack even the objections when you're creating your copy. Because imagine a client is saying, I already know the downside of this product. And when they tell you that, what do you say? Copy is also like talking. You're selling a product and you're talking to someone. And imagine the person just tells you, oh, how about this? I already know that this has this disadvantage. What would you say at that time? So these are the reasons you need to know your product so well that when people raise objections, you can easily, say things in a very polite way that will make them see that, whoops, amid this objection, there is still an advantage. There is still something you can use this and this would not be a problem at all. Things like that. And that is why knowing your product and service is totally important, right? Great. All right, another thing you need to do is know your audience before you write a copy. So you see all the things we're saying, know your product or service, position your product or service. Now know your audience. Always get your copy to the needs and tastes of your customers. If you don't know your audience, and trust me, you'll be wasting time writing that copy. Someone sent me a message once, I think in the first batch of our copywriting class, and she said, I don't understand it. How come Nigerian copies are different from American copies? And I said the audience is different. You need to understand that, right? And then she went for that. Okay, so I want to understand why some people have to write in this particular way and will still sell, and others would have to write in this. But and I said the audience is different. The people they are reaching are different. They have different terms. You need to also know when writing a copy, understand the language terms as well of your buyers, especially people who already know that product or are aware of that service. They know the terms involved. So if you can't even use those words, how can I trust you to be professional at what you do? If you can't use the terms in this industry, you must know industry related terms as well, such that when people who are very much aware of your product or service see it, know that yes, this person knows what he or she is saying. They actually know what you're doing. I can trust them to. So those things just work as well. You must have, so that's why it's necessary for you to know your audience. And everybody cannot be your audience. Take note. For people who say, well, everybody's not your audience. You need to understand that your audience your niche has an audience. Yeah. And you need to come to that place where you understand that it is necessary for you to know, are they mass market consumers, upscale young professionals, hard-boiled professional buyers with a bottom line mentality? You need to know them to that level. What kind of mindset do they have? Where do they play? Where do they work? What do they do exactly? What do they like? Are they executives in your field? You need to find out. You need to check the demographics of the media as well. You need to understand how these guys think, how they work, how they roll. If you have to join in the next class, which is the premium, I would teach you how you can identify your dream buyer and create a dream buyer avatar, right? Great. So the different things you need to know. You also need to plan your copy strategy. Decide how much copy you need to convey the message, right? As a general rule of thumb, especially in catalogs, the length of your copy should vary in proportion to your company's investment in the product. So some people wonder, must my copy always be long? Yeah, you get to see a lot of long copies, right? And this is based on, it comes back to the first or the second terminology I told you guys in copywriting, your description and benefits. If you don't have so much to say about that product, what I mean is if there are no much attached to it, you don't need to have an extremely long copy. So no, your copy mustn't always be long. But if you know that there's so much to explain or describe with this product that is of value, such that every line would arouse an interest or raise a curiosity, and I want to know more about your product and more, then fine. The copy can be long because you're trying to explain everything in details about that product. Remember that copywriting is with just one end goal in mind: to sell. So your copy mustn't always be long. Remember, I said if your product is simple and its virtues are self-evident, you don't have much explaining to do. In fact, for brands that are already well known and are trusted, don't even have so much to say because people already know what they do. People are aware of, testimonies, reviews, all those things, and they've seen the value of their product over time. And it's really not necessary to try to say too much to convince people again. They're already aware of how trustworthy this brand is, or product or service is. Yeah. And you also need to consider other things. Do you want to develop a running theme that serves as a conceptual focal point for your copy? Or do you want to advertise a line of related products, that means products that are like, right? You need to coordinate your plans with the designers of the product or product manager. If it's not yours, if it is yours, all you just need to do is coordinate your plans so that everything works together. And if it's not yours, work with the person who has it so that you guys can have the same concept in mind. Very, very important. Now, let me shock you a bit, just a bit, yeah? What if I tell you that the most outstanding copy strategies are formulated from knowing your product or service and audience intimately? Do you want to think about that a bit? What if I tell you that the most outstanding copy strategies are formulated from knowing your product or service and audience intimately? Who wants to tell me why that is? Who wants to tell me why that is actually?
Okay, for me, when you understand your customers, your product, and your audience, it gives you the opportunity to know what they really want, which can help your copying. So you know what you're selling to them.
Okay, great. Someone else want to say something in that regard, but you've answered well though. So once you know your audience intimately and you know your product or service intimately as well, you can create extremely outstanding copy strategies that would sell, right? Remember, that's your goal. Now, when writing a copy, what do you need to do? One, don't lose sight of your primary goal, which is to sell your product or service. Sometimes you see people would write long stories and copies and, lose their focus in between and just play around with words and you enjoy all of it. And then you're wondering, okay, perhaps you still don't even do what you're supposed to do because they've lost the focus of their goal. Your writing should be more than a flat presentation of the facts. Remember that a copywriter must persuade and motivate. That's why we use stories. That's why we use grabbers. That's why we also use words that sells. That's why we use compelling words. That's why we use persuasive tones. That's why we use reviews, because we want to motivate you. We want to persuade you. So don't lose sight of your primary goal, which is to sell your product or service, no matter what. So as you're writing, remember I shared my story when I started. I just wanted to write something. Let's just, have fun. This is what I love to do. Just in case writing is your hobby as well, like me, that found mine when I was, 9 years old. So it's fine. It's just something I enjoy to do. So, hey, let's just write something quickly and just put out there. People would enjoy the read. But hey, what is the goal? It is to sell. So don't lose sight of that. Now, focus on your primary goal. Don't let runaway creativity bury the message, right? The most brilliant efforts will be wasted if your audience can't remember what product you are pushing. So imagine you've written so much, plenty words all put together. You've actually thrilled your audience, flabbergasted them. In fact, they're so excited and enthused, but when they're done reading, they just sleep or perhaps go on to do something else because they don't even know. Okay, no big deal. Yeah, there's no product again that they feel you're pushing. Yeah, they feel you just entertain them, and that is not the goal. You're not trying to entertain. Copywriting is not for entertainment. It's basically sell. Yeah. Now another thing is stress the benefits. Stress the benefits. Remember when we started, I said description and benefits are very important. You need to pay attention to stressing the benefits. It's really about your audience and what you can do for them. So resist the temptation to thump your chest on behalf of your company. It's not see how great we are. Hey, can you see what we are doing? We are super great. We are excellent at what we do. Come do business with us. Nobody cares about how great you are until they know how much you care. So it's basically about what we can do for you. Show your potential customers how your product or service will make them happier, wealthier, more comfortable, or more secure. Right? It is very important that you take note of this because, again, it is not company centered, but audience centered or customer centered. You must write with their interests in mind. If you can do this, if you can create a copy that is customer centered, you've conquered half of the battle already. Did you get that? If you can create a copy that is customer centered, you have conquered half of the battle already. So take note of that. Another thing you need to do is to arouse interest. Arouse interest. Now, from the headline to the ordering statements, your copy should continually pique the reader's curiosity. As you unfold the benefits, keep seasoning your copy with human interest, helpful tips, curious facts, colorful phrases, or anything that would heighten involvement in your copy or story. Now, you need to write so that your audience actually look forward to hearing from you again beyond a one-time sale. It's not about just buy from me now and that's. And I think that's why many people miss it in copywriting. Actually, they write just to sell now. They forget that it's a progressive stage. You must, and in the premium class, I would share with you the different kind of audience, their different stages, and how you can actually arouse their interest at different stages. Because there are different people who really want to buy from you, but don't even know what your products are really about. Don't even know that they need it, and so you must know how to arouse their interest at that level. Then there are people who already know about you and are already doing business with people who sell your products or services and just need to know you as someone they can trust to also do business with you for the same product that they've been buying already. Now, for those kind of people, you don't need too much. All you just need to do is show them that yes, they can trust you and they'll do business with you. But how about the people that actually don't know that they need your product? Yeah, so that's why you need to know these different stages. For the people who actually know they need your product and already buying it or service and already buying it or doing business with your competitors, for those people, it will shock you that they're just 3% actually of the of your target audience, 3% of population that you're looking out for to do business with you. And then the larger people or the larger percentage on the other side, which I will share with you and explain further in the premium class. But for this, let's just move on. Now, don't fill your copy with empty overstatements. Have you ever heard, why do they call some people talkatives? The same way we have talkatives, we have people who just write too much and make no sense. And, too many words like fabulous, fantastic, all the adjectives that perhaps are not necessary. You must take note of your adjectives, the use of words, and ensure that you're not writing words to destroy what you're really out for. You don't want to put out the wrong foot, right? You don't want to put out the wrong notion where people are thinking, what's up here? What's this person? This person is just using too much words. We don't even know where they're adding to or something. And they don't read your copy beyond the first 2 lines. You don't want that, right? So it's necessary that you ensure that you don't just tell people too much words, trying to tell people this is what they will get, this is too much words. Make sure that you show. So there's something we say, show, don't tell. So let your words create pictures in the minds of people and not just tell them too many things and yet they're wondering what is it heading to. So you must show with your words and not just tell, such that your words or your copy makes your audience say, wow, this is fantastic. I want this. Right? Very important. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
All
we
right,
are.
great. Thank you. Thank you so much for what the response is. Another thing you need to do or know that you must do when writing a copy is be accurate. Remember, we said get your facts straight. So you don't want to look like some dummy who is just putting out things out there, and people can actually see the fault in everything you're saying and say, well, this is not right. I have done the right research and I have my fact. This person doesn't have his or her facts right. You don't want that situation. So be accurate. Don't leave yourself open to claims of false advertising by making statements that can't be substantiated. Above all, amid the fact that we've said we want you to be we want you to use words that persuade, and we want you to explain your product in such a way that would create a sales. We don't want you to lie about what you're truly offering. We want you to be truthful. You must be truthful. You must ensure that everything you are saying relates to what it is you are truly offering. Don't make lies about anything. Resist the temptation to distort the facts in pursuit of an easy sale. I know people want to sell sometimes and they just say things that and they're not supposed to say, or things that they cannot truly do. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Rather, it's even better you on the premise and over deliver. But please, in a place of writing your copy, we do not expect that you would create words that are not true with or in relation to the value you're offering. Very, very important. Be specific. Don't use easy abstractions or approximations. When you have a chance to create vivid images with simple, observable details or objective or adjectives, please do. Remember, I said earlier, use the right adjectives that would show people what it is you're about. That will create that picture and that vivid image of what you are offering, right? Would you rather eat a frozen dessert or raspberry ice? Try to avoid the notorious then what? When you're trying to compare things, this lasts longer than da da dash. Get this job done faster than da da. Do everything you can to sharpen the picture. So avoid unnecessary use of words, avoid abstractions or approximations, avoid things that would definitely not create clarity in the minds of your audience. You want to be very clear, like I said, and be specific about what you are selling. Be organized. Your message should progress logically from the headline to the clincher. I'm sure you remember the clincher, which is the persuasive closing statement, right? Everything must be on point and highly organized. Don't bury essential information in the darkest recesses of your copy, or lead off with a trivia that stops the reader. You don't want to get your reader to a point where they just stop and they're like, I'm not interested in this, and just drop it. You want them to read till the end. And so, you want to ensure that everything's organized. Just like we tell you in essay writing, they tell you you must have the introduction, the body, which contains the different paragraphs depending on what you want to write about. And then you must have the end, which is the closing paragraph. So your copy must have a beginning, middle, and end. So you plan it such that you understand, the end from the beginning. You already know where you're heading towards the end when you start, right? So be very organized. Now, write for easy reading. I think I already said this when I said you need to be very clear. You must create clarity in the minds of people. I've seen people want to write, and many times they use words that people might not necessarily understand, and they just keep using these words, all through their copy. It's not necessary. You want to write for easy reading. Your style should suit the audience you're addressing. And remember, your audience counts. If you're writing for professionals, it's okay to.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
The people, that's very intentional. They're just trying to say, okay, this is just, it's simple flow, just flow with me. It's the writer trying to, get the audience or the reader to flow with his or her tone. Oh, how many people would really attend to someone who is, or flow with someone who is expressing an introverted attitude? For some reason, when it comes to selling, whether you're marketing whether you're talking while you're marketing or writing, you must switch sort of, if you're very introverted as a person, at that point, you create an environment that would ensure communication, and you forget whether you're an introvert or not. I think introverted personalities even sell better than extroverted personalities. This is my thought, because they're able to give facts, information, and basic things that are significant, rather than me just talking and trying to make you feel good and happy, and then eventually you buy because maybe you like me. But that's beautiful too. However, I think the other sells better, because that's basic. We want to get the information, we want to get the facts, we want to get all about the things that this product will do, the value of the service and all. And that should prompt a much more a better kind of buying, because I want to buy again beyond just buying now, rather than you just buying from me at one time because oops, you just like my personality and all. But this is just me saying that's, by the way, right, for easy reading. Communicate. You want to do everything possible to ensure that your message gets read, right? Another thing you need to do is appeal to the emotions rather than the intellect. You want your words to propel the reader to action, and nothing is so propulsive as human emotions. Let me tell you one secret, really, to selling to people is basically it's human psychology. That's what it is, actually. You must be that person that understands emotional intelligence, whereby you also understand the desires, the fears, the hopes, the dreams of your audience. If you don't know these things, you perhaps will not be able to sell to them properly. People buy sometimes, you know how we say bad news sells? People buy sometimes because you've addressed a fear. People buy sometimes because you've addressed or you've awakened hope in them. People buy sometimes because you've awakened their dreams again. Finally, they can see, they can dream again. Things like that. And so you want to be in that place where you can appeal to the emotions of your audience. If you try to be all too serious, I would say sometimes you can't be just all too serious when you're addressing a set of persons. And this is why we actually use stories. Stories can be so emotional, where you get to a point where when you start to share your story, people can really, relate with you. They can connect with you better. And if they can connect with you better, they can buy from you. Yeah? Very, very important. So even if you're writing to an audience of executives or college professors, don't forget that they are also humans, and they can be motivated by feelings as well. Truly. Yeah, so yes, we've already told you to be logical with your benefits, your description and all, but don't forget the place of speaking to the emotions of people, because we are all humans, right? And we have the emotional side as well. So keep this in mind as well. Some advertising media are intrinsically less emotional than others. So as much as we've said you need to use or appeal to the emotions of people, you must understand the balance in these things. You must know where you can drive, with so much emotional words that can appeal to the emotions of people, and where you can actually reduce the intensity of that, or where you can actually take it at a very, very low pace, where people are not even seeing too much of emotional stuff, because it's very important that you know that some copies don't require too much of that. A brochure, for example, has to present the hard facts. It typically won't generate as much emotional heat as a good sales letter, but it should trigger an emotional response, such response that will make people say, I want that product or service now, right? Now, don't sound offensive. I've seen people will create copies, and in the place of trying to use humor, begin to sound offensive. I mean, or sound in ways that would actually offend an individual. You don't want to offend. That's not the idea. So while using humor, use it with, good sense of style, such that people are not actually, offended. Don't even don't create controversial issues out of this thing, because if you do, what will happen over time is that, you just might be sounding too offensive. I've seen people will read copies and they'll use what's it called, words, vulgar words. You want to be very, very what's the word to use now? Careful not to do this, right? So please, by all means, especially for mails, you hear people when they send out mails, you see the kind of mails you get sometimes. Uh I mean, I don't want to even go there, but don't be that person. Don't criticize your audience thinking in whatever service or product you are selling. Don't preach. Be of a sunny disposition and aim to please, right? Basically, these things are very important. So don't be extreme with your use of words. Whether you're trying to create humor or something, don't be extreme. Don't be sarcastic. It's just okay to be simple, co-edit, specific, focused, clear, and put your points on ground and from beginning to the end. But please, by all means, avoid anything that would call for fun. Make use of testimonials and reviews. I'm sure you see why people now use testimonials a lot. Sometimes you don't, after everything you've written to convince people, you still don't understand why they would not make a decision. The truth is that some people just want to see what you've done. They want to see examples of what you've done in time past. So it's necessary that you produce testimonials and reviews. Is just important, and that's why sometimes when if you've ever hired someone to do a copy for you before, or you've ever tried to do a copy without putting testimonials into it, just understand that it's so incomplete. But if you hire people to do copies for you, one thing that always happens is they want to get your testimonials, your reviews. Let's see what people have said about your product, because as much as you've written all the words, to persuade your audience, what's next? What have you done? You need to show. Remember, it's more about showing them and not just telling them. So you need to show them evidence and proofs of what you've done and what people are saying about what they have gained from what you have done, right? Or from your product, by the way. That's it. So very, very important. And yes, it's also a sales weapon. And what better sales weapon could you ask?
I believe it's going through some little technical difficulties. Um, so far so good. Any questions so far? What has we've learned so far?
I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize I was out already. Sorry. What was the last thing you heard before I? Can you hear me now?
Yes, madam.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, what was the last thing you heard before I was knocked out?
You are trying to move to ask for orders from your customers.
Okay, great. I apologize. Let me share my screen again. And then we'll just go on. Please mute your mic so that thank you. Okay, great. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so ask, thank you so much. Ask for the customer's order is basically call to action. You don't want a situation where people are done reading your copy, and as much as it sounds so great, they still, don't see what they're supposed to do. Don't assume that people already know what they should do, because oh no, you'll be shocked that people don't know what to do many times. So you need to tell people what to do. And so you must put your call to action and tell people exactly what to do and how to buy what you're selling from what you're selling, basically. That is very important. So if you end your copy without putting a call to action, without asking for the customer's order, it's as good as telling them to, smile and go and do whatever it is that you want to do. That is fine by me. And remember, the end goal of your copy is to sell. So don't leave that out. Another thing you need to do is revise and edit your work. Very important. So cut out all dead wood. Every word should pull its weight. It's very necessary that every word counts. I like to tell people this. Every story counts. In the same way, every word counts. So you must ensure that every word pulls its weight, right? And an advertising copy is like poetry in this respect. Be your own critic. Check your facts, your syntax, that's basically grammatical errors and all, your spelling. Make sure you haven't left anything out. Then read your copy again before you send it out, before you share, before you submit, whatever it is you're trying to do with your copy. Make sure that it comes out great to you first before others, right? Now, let me tell you a bit about your customers. And this is just, by the way, just a little bit about them, right? If you don't know your audience, remember we said you can't successfully write a copy that would hook them, whet their desires, and cause them to buy your offer. So you must know your customer, right? Now, before you start thinking about creating a copy, sales funnel, or offers, I'm sure so many people just say, yeah, about sales funnels. And I just want to create a sales funnel. No, that's so funny, really. I mean, I was there many years back and I just wanted to create a sales funnel and I didn't even know the nitty-gritties involved, that you must ensure that that sales funnel has the right copy that is even appealing to an audience. Otherwise, you're wasting your time with the sales funnel. As beautiful as your sales funnel can be designed or maybe designed, if the copy is so wrong or it's not persuasive enough, it's just a waste of time. Trust me. So it's necessary that you understand that before you think about creating a copy, sales funnel, or offer, you need to do this one thing. And nothing matters if you can't nail this. And that is, you must know your customers intimately. Very, very important. So now, the most basic starting point is understanding who they are. When you understand this, you can tailor your marketing message directly for your audience. Now, look at this offer created out of thorough study of the pain of the prospects in an area. They said, we'll build your new home in just 30 weeks or give you $5,000 in cash. Now, I'm sure you'll be wondering, well, that will not move me. Yeah, even me, that would not move me. But they studied that environment, they studied that area or community and realized that what people have been doing over time is making so much promises about building people's houses within a particular time, but never meeting the quota. They never beat it. So people already had their objections about things like that. People didn't want to, hire people within that community to build houses for them because they felt it's just the same thing. They never really complete within a particular time. And so they said, you know what? Let's deal with this objection. We will build your new home in just 30 weeks or give you $5,000 in cash. And guess what? They made sales with that copy because that community actually needed someone to guarantee them on that. And that is it. And they kept to their word. And so people just literally knew them for, oh, this is it. They would truly do it. And that is, so you must, that's why we said you must study and know your audience. You must research them. If you take this kind of copy to another set of people who are already used to people beating quotas, trust me, they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to buy from you because that's not convincing enough. That's not compelling enough. So that's what you must know. So don't try it. And that's why it's necessary for you to not just copy people's copies just like that. You must know your audience. And you see how people copy people's copy and that's it and put it out there and you're wondering what's happening. Why is it not working? Except you're copying people's copy who are within your market niche, right? Then you see them actually producing results and that works. But if not, you're just wasting your time so many times, really. That's what it is. So you must know and understand. And if you're copying your competitor's copy who is not in the same, for instance, if you're basically targeting the Nigerian market and you're trying to copy copies that are from other countries and all about that, trust me, there's a way to sell to Nigerians. It's totally different. And so if you are trying to do that, you definitely might not necessarily get what you want. And you don't want that. So if you even get results at all, it just might be within a low range. So if you are supposed to get 100% or 50%, result or increase in sales for writing something based on thoroughly researching your audience, you perhaps will get less than 10%, perhaps 5%, or perhaps 3% or 2%, and you don't want that. And so that's why it's necessary to thoroughly research and know your audience. Now, understanding someone's age and gender is not enough to really know them. Your competition is already doing this. So, with this minimalist approach, the best you can do is match their data. Now, for your message to stand out from the crowd and really win customers, you must go deeper. And I mean much deeper in knowing your audience. So you need to uncover your customers' deepest and most primal desires. You must delve into their fears, hopes, wishes, and dreams using one of the most powerful strategies ever. So there's a highly effective and powerful strategy to coming to know your customers' deepest and most primal desires. You can actually know their fears, you can know their dreams, you can know their hopes, their wishes, and how. One powerful strategy is basic here. And I'll tell you more about that in a premium class. So here's what to expect, some of the things to expect in the premium class, right? The most powerful and effective strategy to uncovering your customers' deepest and most primal desires, fears, hopes, dreams, how to create your dream buyer's avatar, how to effectively create grabbers, irresistible offers, descriptions, and benefits and clinchers, and 7 powerful secrets of effective content marketing. And that will be in the premium class of this particular class. However, next week, Saturday as well, we have another amazing class coming your way. But I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Do you have any questions? Are you there? Can you hear me? Do you have any questions?
No, from my end. Thank you.
Okay, can you share with me what you learned today already?
Okay, yeah, I can totally relate to copywriting. Before, I see it as one technical skill that maybe I won't be able to have it, but since yesterday and today, it has really, with your teachings, I've been able to understand that it's something I can do. Okay, what my takeaway is that I should first of all understand my product. I think that's where I always have issue, because most times it's as if I don't understand the services I render. So I find it difficult to be able to come up with a copy that can sell to my audience, that can tell my audience what my services is all about. So with today's takeaway, I think I will focus more on getting to understand what my product, my services is, and then look at my audience and also find a compelling word that can relate to them. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to ask everybody feedback. Did you get value? If you got value, just blink your mic, just say value, or put on the chat value, value, value. Did you get value from this class? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can I be heard?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. It doesn't look like though. I mean, I was wondering what's going on. Okay, great. So did you get value
Yes,
from this
I
class?
can.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, can I see people making use of the chat or blinking your mic, or perhaps just saying value, value, value? I got value. Thank you, it's Noah, Jonas. Thank you so much. Can I see more? I want to know that yes, you got value from this class and you've learned a lot. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Can we get more people? Thank you, China. Thank you so much. Thank you, Olawumi. Thank you. All right. I have a task I want to give us, quite a simple task, and that is basic. You would have to, it's an assignment, and the first one is you have to write a headline and a sub headline for your product or service. How many of us have products here already? Or perhaps you don't have products or services, you can as well say it. But if you have a product or service, can I see you? You can raise your hands. How many of us? Okay, I see you, Rachel. Your hand raised. Who else? Is it just Rachel that has? Okay, Uchenna. Okay, who else has a product? Okay, allow me as well. Who else has a product? We have 3 people already who have products. Who else has a service or products? Any of the two? Really? Interesting. So we just have 3 persons here. Okay, so what you would do if you don't have a product or service already, let me give you one, perhaps, right? So that can work. So for us to that have, for the 3 of us that said we have a product or service, write a headline and a sub headline for your product. But if you do not have any, pick any product that you find interesting or intriguing. It could be a microwave, a gym membership, a Brazilian hair, whatever it is, or it could even be on this class, copywriting, right? And write a sub headline or an headline and sub headline, not more than, the headline shouldn't be more than 12 words, right? Please note this assignment. They note it so that you can put it on the WhatsApp group as well. Help me with that. Allow me. Thank you. So note that you have to create a headline not more than 12 words. Understand that it must grab attention, and the sub headline should expand the idea of the headline. So you're writing a headline or sub headline. Don't do more than that. I'm not asking you to write a copy, all right? Basically. And then the second assignment is you have to carefully select 5 of your contacts each day to send the next training that will be happening next week, Saturday. So we will share the flyer on the group. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes, we
can.
can.
Okay, great. We'll share the flyer on the group and you'll have to share with at least 5 persons, right? And that is the other part. Okay, we've actually come to the end of this, and I actually want you to know that and get ready and pumped up for what is coming your way next Saturday. We will be having that training, and it's really going to be a whole lot more effective and stronger than this that you had tonight. Get ready for more. It's going to be on sales letters, how you can eventually now write the sales letters, and we're going to go into practical ways in the next class. So get ready for what is coming. And note that we would send you the premium part as well on the group. So get ready for it. But yes, I'm sure that you are ready for what is coming your way. Ready. And so I'm saying it's time to say goodbye. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I love you all with all of my heart. Thanks for your time. I truly appreciate you. More details will be communicated on the WhatsApp group. So get ready. Love you. Love you all.